Hello, my name is Sketch. And yes, I am a boy. And I need your help. You don't have to, if you don't want to. But I need help with getting seen. If you have seen my channel before, you know I hate my school so much. And that I have a LGBTQ club. So here's a recap. So to begin, I asked my head of sixth form if I can start a club. It was agreed and I got things sorted. The arrangement was I did it in my classroom because I had the staff members to keep an eye on the group. But because it was summer, I did it outside in the sixth form. For people came and only one of them kept joining. One person didn't come because they were off too. I don't know what was going on with them. And another two, we were having a tricky situation with the teacher. Then people stopped showing up. I thought it was with the weather, so I put a email that day saying, hey, even though it's raining, we're doing it inside today. Everyone stopped showing up, and then I did it at the bottom of my school, which isn't the sixth form. Some people reply, but no one truly answers. I keep putting out email for months and months. No teachers reply. One of my teachers tell me to turn it into a games club. I say no because then it's not a LGBTQ club. Soon after, a long mouth. We're about to go on holiday. It's October. And one kid shows up early. And we chat how it's unfair that I put time into this and nothing. And that I have emailed all the staff about what's going on. And basically now this is past that because we come back from Halloween. November goes past, we're in Christmas time, and yet no one comes to my club for the whole entire month. We go on a Christmas break. The situation with that teacher and their two students still hasn't been sorted out. They want to join, but they haven't been able to come to the club because apparently they need their parents' permission. And again, the same kid who is really kind and sweet has been coming to the club. This Friday, on January 16th, I finally got more people to come to the club, but not because I sent out a lovely email, because I asked my own teacher to tell the other teachers. On January 14th, Wednesday, I sent out an email saying these exact words. Hello, can you please remind your students that my club is on every Friday at 12:30 lunchtime? If there's any miscommunication, can you please email me back so I can re-explain it? It is also on this Friday at 12:30 lunchtime, and it ends at the end of lunch. I cannot wait to see you guys here at the club. Also, my only rules are you can't be inappropriate, rude, or unkind in the club. Those are my only rules. And also, can you please tell me their names and if they want to come, so then if they want to play with their friends, I can know, so I'm not just waiting on them. Thank you. I wait, and nothing. I ask my teacher. Summer ring up my email to be shorter, also telling him to email me. And after I went to my art for 3 hours, he got email after the email. I got so upset about this, but I still did my club. I understand, I am a student. But if it's about my club, then it's honestly probably important. My teacher is not running this club, I am. So if I'm putting our information, then you need to read it. I am still very mad about this. How disgusted I am that I am being treated unfairly, because if a teacher wants to do this club, one, they would probably do it wrong. And two, they would get emails back. So what's the difference? I understand they think they're better than me, and I don't know what I have done to annoy them. I'm going to send out an email. Then I'm going to make my teacher send the exact same thing. I'm going to see who gets a reply first. And if he does, I'm going to not do any work. There's also another thing I need to talk about. Okay, so there was the girl who was late to the club. And when she stepped into the classroom, the person who was with her said out loud, she's a bite scared, face screaming in fear. Oh no, I'm so sorry. You're scared of gay people. If that isn't the reason why she's scared, it kind of come across like that. But the thing she did kind of didn't help my case of thinking that. First, she went to the door and kind of put her arms to her chest, and then kicked the door closed. To be honest, I kind of thought she was going to run out the door. I also thought maybe she was overstimulated. So I just gave her a chance. One of the people who were from sixth form like me, they asked nicely if they could go on their device. I said yes, but they didn't have headphones. So they played with no volume on, and I was fine with it, as long as it wasn't inappropriate. And they listened. One kid tried going into my bag. I can't say explained. That's my bad. Can you please not put your fingers in it? And they listened. There was a girl, and I gave her a worksheet, and she listened. The one who came every day, I allowed him to just have a break. But the girl who came late really annoyed me. So for some reason, the teacher that was with her got very confused by the question, which was one on the worksheet. What do you identify as, and what's your sexuality? They kind of explained it weirdly, so I explained it. I said, do you like boys or girls? The girl who came late, what she said really pissed me off. She said, well, I like boys. I don't want to be a lesbian. I want to be straight. Say it more nicely, you just arrived, girl. And I feel like, why are you being so harsh in her? Because she shouldn't have said to make you understand. She shouldn't have said, I don't want to be a lesbian, I want to be straight. That isn't the bad thing. The bad thing is that she said it like being a lesbian was bad. So I said, but what if the person looks like a boy, but they were non-binary? Would you date them? For some reason, the teacher heard me saying this instead and repeated it. So if someone was a girl, but then identify as a boy, like transitioned, would you date them? I was thinking that's not the question I asked, but I'm curious now, what would she say? And get ready to punch your screens. She said, well, I don't want to be a lesbian, so I wouldn't date her. Then I'll be dating a girl, not a boy. I explained calmly that that person is a boy, and as a trans guy, that kind of hurt me. And she said no, because trans people are identify as both genders. They would be a boy and a girl. I could tell the teacher that was with them was getting a little tense. So I took a deep breath and looked at the girl and said, well, if they identified as both genders, they would be gender fluid. And I know someone who is trans can be gender fluid, but I didn't want to confuse her. And for some reason, this girl just kept denying what I was saying was true. So next Friday, we're doing a lesson about being trans. This will be fun, but I already had one plan about why people off themselves because of bullying, and I was just going to do it about the LGBTQ, but also that disabled people do it as well. I also said a warning that I was going to talk about serious topics because the school needs to talk about them. It can't all just be sunshine and rainbows. Obviously, I said it more professionally. And how this basically, I worded it as so. This school doesn't talk a lot about the LGBTQ. And when it does, it's not very good. Yes, they talk about the struggle, but not always. They talk about more of the past and not the future, which is good, but you've got to be lucky to learn about both. And that's why I made this club, to inform people, to learn, and to have a safe space. I am also only one person. So not all of the things will be fun, most of it will be learning. But that's what we need to do, learn. And then after I'd done that, the girl who was late walked in. I already just talked about her, but there was one last thing she did before she left. And then I've got to talk about another adult that arrived with some 2 other students. So I told everyone it was time for them to go and pack up, and I already said my pronouns were he, him, and the girl that was late misgendered me before I could correct her. She had already left. No, onto the adult. On the worksheet, there was a thing that said, you can draw your flag or put a frog sticker. That obviously not being a straight flag frog sticker in the Pride frog sticker collection I had. I brought in some animal stickers that they could use instead, because I was showing the girl who was late one of them. The teacher that was with the other 2 said, oh, look guys, you get a frog sticker. You are not doing this club. Do not tell them that. So I had to break the news to them. They were not allowed to frog sticker because there wasn't any straight ones. Neither of them got mad, but one of them did want a frog sticker. So I gave them a rainbow one because I know they were straight. Because they written it down, I wouldn't get confused. For the girl, she picked out one of the animal ones. Everything was fine. But on Thursday, the 15th of January in maths. Oh my God. Please go watch this video. It explains so much. It explains my cousin's situation and why my school made me cry. The reason why it says part 2. Impact 1, I basically distract myself and don't talk about it. So yeah, go watch. For context, please. Okay, so let me talk that you now know the context. So they normally allow my cousin to come collect iPads. From my maths class, I had to get used to that. Because every time I complain about it, one of my staff members sigh. And it annoys me. One staff member laughed when I told her about the situation between me and him. And she told me when I complained about him coming into my maths, when they could send anyone else, she said, maybe he volunteered, maybe he finished his work before everyone else. Am I not allowed to complain? I'm not allowed to say how I feel uncomfortable no more. So during that certain in maths, everyone already had a stumble. Because we had a meeting about phones and the band, basically. You're only allowed to listen to music with headphones. And you're not allowed to text a parent or anyone. And then the rest of the normal rules. But I like watching YouTube when I eat my food. But because of this rule, I can't, and it was really annoying. Kind of got worse because I had of sixth form. Said no more swearing, and then all the boys who are so homophobic said, well, Heartstopper has swearing. Yes, it does well done, but that's a book we've been assigned. Also, I know you don't have a problem with the swearing. You have a problem with two people who are boys who want to kiss. By the way, I love Heartstopper. Anyways, they were saying for the rest of their assembly how they were being forced to read Heartstopper when they weren't. They can stop reading. If they wanted to be honest, no one cares. They'll just fail English. But because of that, some of those boys was in my cousin English, which I don't care about. And he was walking over, and I was thinking, great, he's coming to get the iPads already. Fine. Hurry up, make this fast. He comes in, and he sits down at a seat saying I'm in here now for maths. Because it's too loud in my maths class. A kid that I've talked about which I don't like, but we speak. Because he's not a bad kid sometimes. He's okay in certain occasions. Now he knows about my situation with my cousin. And he looks at me and he's like, give me the eyes, asking, will you be okay? I look at him back with the eyes saying I want to cry. I want to leave, but I can't cause I know I will get yelled at. He nods, and then a girl that knows my situation that we talk to. She's my friend enemy, and she gives me the eyes of don't worry, if he tries anything I will hurt him, and I give her the eyes back saying thank you. I have told one of the helpers that are in the maths, which is an LSSA when I mean helper, about my situation, and he's sitting right behind me doing work. I don't remember if the person who was another LSA who had to teach the lesson that day knew about it, but she was telling my cousin that the maths class was going to be loud. Because of the certain people who weren't in when they're back, it's going to be really loud. And that is true. When I was able to leave, I left when my cousin left. I went through the far exit into my other classroom, which was my main classroom for English. They finished up, and I go straight to my boyfriend, my face almost touching his. I was in so much sadness and pain and uncomfortable. My face cracked a smile, and I wanted to frown, but it just twitched. It was like a force to grin. I told him that they put him in my class, my old maths teacher, which knew the situation between me, and my cousin put my cousin in the same class as me. When I first went into my old maths, I was a higher set than all of them. I wasn't even supposed to be there to begin with. But when I went in, I didn't know my cousin was in that class. He went to go sit next to me, and I got up, and I left. I broke down crying. And I did my work outside. Luckily, I got moved, but that feeling of being uncomfortable was back when he sat down. I honestly don't care if they don't believe me. If they ask them, why haven't I complained about him? Because I've been keeping my distance from him. Because I have trying to make myself feel less uncomfortable. There's other things in the school that makes me so sick, uncomfortable, scared. And I don't even report them to you anymore because you don't listen. Or when I speak, you ignore me or talk over. Hopefully this time, they actually allow my mom to have a meeting to talk to them, because this is just stupid. When we go back to school and when we have maths, I'm staying in my classroom. I will do a Savannah. I will make them go collect my worksheets for me. I will do them in my classroom. If I get in trouble, I get in trouble. I'll still do the work. But I am not leaving. I am not going to be in the same room as him. And if the solution is to move them to my classroom, I don't know what to do. And when I told one of the teachers, she said, I'm so proud of you for not breaking down crying and for leaving. Yeah, well, I couldn't leave. I had to deal with feeling uncomfortable. So you saying you're so proud of me for not leaving and crying. You should have said, why couldn't you leave? Because then I would have been able to say, because I didn't know how that teacher would react if I just got up and left. I'm not going to maths no more until they fixes this. They can't make me. I hate my school, having to explain this, and why he makes me feel uncomfortable. But I would tell it to them if they really want to hear it. But I don't think they will listen. They never listen to me. Because apparently everything I say is a lie when it's not. I'll give you guys an update on Monday or Tuesday, depending. But I'm not doing maths. Have a good day, guys. Oh yes, and the whole part of watching this video, I need you guys to support me in this. You can just comment, like, or subscribe. I just need the confidence boost. And you could just watch this video. You don't have to do any of that. Thank you.